Alright, talk about the night that you got shot.
Okay, well, basically, I got off work that real late that night. Now I knew I was going to the club, so I took 5 bottles of liquor, put it in a book bag, and left to go out to the club. Now, when I got to this club, it was down south in Cutler Ridge.
What was the name of the club?
It was called Ram Gems. And when we got there, basically, there was no security at the door. So I just walked inside there with the liquor in my book bag. And I came with 2 guys that I was working with at the time. And when I got inside, we pulled out the liquor and everything, got some cups, started drinking. The biggest guy out of us, he started, he really was hyper, so he grabbed the girl and just pulled her to him and started dancing on her. Now her boyfriend seen all this, and approached us along with 5 of his friends. When they approached us, a big fight ended up breaking out. Now during the time I was fighting these guys, something just hit me and told me, well, hey, I got in this club with 5 bottles of liquor. I know someone could get in here with a gun. So I decided, well, hey, it was time to leave. I told the 2 guys I came with, well, it's time to leave. And as we was trying to leave, I could notice that the group of guys that we just had a fight with, they were trying to get to the door before us. So that made me even more anxious to get out of the club. Once I got to the door, and I could see US 1 right in front of me. My first instinct told me to run, so I took off running to get cars US 1. My plan was to get cars US 1 and duck down behind some cars. The guy came out behind me and fired 18 shots at me. And I could tell you, every shot fired, only thing that was running through my mind is, oh my God, I hope I don't get hit, And out of 18 shots, I got hit with 1 bullet. It entered through my head right here. I still have a mark there. And it exited out under my nose. Now I was laying flat in the middle of US 1, 2:30 in the morning. Okay. And the 2 guys I came with, they just left me there. Like they didn't even knew me. Now, the only way I got to the hospital was that there was a serviceman cleaning the roads. He came and seen my body, called 911. Jackson's son there, helicopter. And I had to go to Jackson for emergency surgery.
Whatever happened to the guy that shot you?
This guy's haven't been caught yet. Even after there was over 38 witnesses, that still haven't been no arrest.
Is he on the run, or is he just like walking around normally? I mean,
yes, he's walking around. Basically, walking around normally.
I mean, you know this guy personally?
I don't know this guy.
You know what he looks like? I mean,
yeah, I know how to do look. He's
So what are the cops doing about this? Aren't they investigating this? I mean,
yeah, it's under investigation. It's an open case, but
it's been what, 2 years now?
It's been a year.
A year?
And actually a year and a couple of months. So basically, this dude's still out there. And even after over 38 witnesses, no one has come forward with anything.
How is the whole incident? Being shot in the head. I mean, your life, obviously, it's changed dramatically. I mean, physically, you're not the same person. So, I mean, how do you... What's the typical day like for you?
I'll tell you, usually I will go to therapy 3 times a week. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. My first therapy session will be speech. Then I will go from speech to physical therapy. After physical, I will go to occupational, and that'll be basically it for the day. And now, I have, come a long way, I relearn how to walk, relearn how to talk, bathe myself, Basically, I had to relearn everything over. I couldn't even, write with a pen or a pencil. So I had to relearn everything over. It was a big process, and it, you know, when people ask me, well, how long it was that I was inside the hospital, you know, to me, I could tell you, it felt like I was there for a couple of years. But in reality, I was only there from February 28th to April 15th. They said it was a very speedy recovery after being shot in the head. You know, and I learned how to do everything, you know, real quickly, you know. I had a wheelchair, you know. The wheelchair only lasted for like a week and a half. And I went from the wheelchair to a walker. The walker only lasted me for, I could say, probably a good 2 weeks. And I was able to walk on my own, you know. Because every morning, I can tell you, I used to get up out of that bed at the hospital and try to walk because I was so depressed. All of my friends that I thought would be there, they was nowhere around. Even the girl I was talking to, she never showed up, you know. And her excuse was one day, you know, she came to the hospital when I was in therapy and she left a note on my hospital bed and left. And the note basically said, well, you know, I came to visit you, but you wasn't here, so I guess I'll see you around. You know, and she feel, well, I should be happy for that, but, you know, you can't replace presence with anything, you know. I wanted her presence. I didn't want no note, no letter. Who cares about a letter? You know. But I came a long way, you know. I relearned how to walk and talk, you know. I have to bathe myself on my own, you know. Sign my signature, you know. And it's basically, you know, inspired me, you know. I survived this gunshot to the head. But just a year ago from my incident, my best friend died. He was shot in the head 3 times. You know, and he died. And this year last year I could see that, you know, just people dying from the same exact thing I survived. And it's hard to think about that my friends died from the same thing I survived. You know, it kind of makes me think, well, why am I here, you know? And why was my life spared when theirs was taken? So it inspired me, you know, to get out the word to these kids about gun violence and everything.
What are some of the things that you're involved in? I know you mentioned earlier that you're a motivational speaker now and you speak to like a lot of kids. So what are some of the other organizations that you're currently involved in?
You know, basically, you know, I go speaking in schools, you know. I spoke at the Community Action Agency conference recently. I went down south to the self-help division program. I got a summer program down there with the kids. I spoke there. You know, I go around to different churches, you know, tell my testimony, you know, because I don't want no one to have to go through what I had to go through, you know. It's hard. One thing being in a hospital, but to have no one come to visit you make you feel alone, you know. And I got real, you know, I was bigger than this, you know. I lost weight, you know.